Every time I try to come back, I tear it again straight away. Learned my lesson after a while. Yeah, well, 3 on the left, 1 on the right. Oh, that's surgery. The rehab? Yeah. Just I've got a structural weakness, no matter what I do. It's always not going to be very good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My sentiments too.
Where did they aim? They went up 5 and they done this. You know what it is?
The next one? Yeah, we did. It's pretty cool.
I actually was good, but I became too tall. And also sometimes outside on the train, occasionally, and the basketball coach picked me up on the right moment when I was all dirty and cold and wet, and I finished the training. I may try. But the trouble was I didn't know anything about basketball. Couldn't bounce the ball. If you love it, you'll make it.
I got scouted for Blacktown when I was younger. I was just by the time I got big, it's started so I started finally putting on a bit of weight. I could, muscle out, play because I was a defender.
Soccer has lots of. It's a good foundation for every sport, but the problem is once you get into it, it has a lot of lateral movement.
Yes.
And
that's still can't step it on.
That's one thing, and then another thing, at any point in time, one of those movements can happen suddenly, and then you go really bad.
Where are they?
But the thing running, stopping running, seeing space and projecting, or how they say, when you predict where the movement comes from, 1 or 2 steps ahead, everything comes from. So soccer is really good. Very good revision. To play
too popular, so this would be a very good thing. That was the issue. Exactly.
Come check them out. Come on. Don, I don't care about him. Just leave it for that. He hasn't been. He's been on the bench, but he's missed the last 3 times they've won. Yeah. He's been there for a couple of times.
This guy's been giggling all day long.
Yeah, 100%.
Where were you at? How are you? Yeah, I'm good. What are you doing? Are you doing surfing? Oh!
Yeah, I have twice. Because you took all the applicants come to this side. You want something?
go, Coast.
Birthday boy, no. Captain.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smith. Today's round 9. Our visitors, Wollongong Wolves. They line up as such.
Well, a very good evening and welcome to Ernie Smith Reserve here in the southwest of Sydney. The SD Raiders play host to the Wollongong Wolves for round 9 action of the NPL Men's New South Wales competition. Both teams coming off back-to-back victories, and for the Wolves in particular, been a great run of form. 10 of their 13 points for the season coming in their past 4 performances. They also come off a 2-1 win against high flyer Sydney Olympic. SD Raiders, of course, finally getting that first victory in the top flight a couple of weeks back. And they're also coming off a 2-1 win up against Blacktown. So good form here today. The injury to Jet McHugh-Shaw, though, that's a big loss for them, but they've proven so far throughout the season with the promotion of some of their young guns coming through the grades. They do have depth, and they're certainly a team with plenty of heart. So James Letter will captain the SD Raiders side. Sebastian Malfara up front here, along with the likes of Chianese, who's been very good for them. He scored more goals than any other player here for the SD Raiders, 3 in total. That includes goals in their past 2 starts, both wins, so 7 starts for him.
James Letter, 9, Jakob Malbasa, 10, Luka Knezovic.
On the other side of the equation, of course, Kazuya Yamamura.
Number 12,
up front, and he'll be looking to knock them away.
14, Ham done well. 14,
Quality on both sides of the park, and two teams that are really in form here. This should be a great encounter. Can't wait for this to get underway. Of course, more action from 5:30 out at Christie Park as well, so you can keep across all the results as we go here for this Saturday evening. And a very happy Easter to you as well if you are watching at home or on the road, potentially heading down to see a bit of family. I'm sure there'll be a lot of these Wollongong boys enjoying Easter Sunday back tomorrow. But we are now underway here for round 9 action with SD Raiders hosting Wollongong Wolves. Both teams in good form. Raiders coming off back-to-back wins. The Wolves, of course, they haven't lost since round 4. Raiders going long with that. Kick off the opening whistle. Now the long throw attempted here by the Wolves. Kept in the field of play here from SD Raiders. Shouts of a handball, but good skill initially there to beat a couple of defenders from Scott. And we'll come away with the results. So Yamamura will leave this now for Beattie. Beattie throwing back towards the middle. And a long clearing kick on the half volley. Letter brings it down with the base of the boot. Back here for Cooper Hannigan, who's been very classy so far this season. Pressured on that occasion, and the last touch was off the Wolves. Massimo Vecchio. That wide start here today. Madden has been good in recent weeks as well. He'll hold the middle. A little chip over the top there looking for Chianese, but he was well and truly offside and pulled himself out of the equation as a result. So throwing to come now for the Wolves. Good pressure now from SD Raiders. Finding a little bit of support here now. Nazevich delivers deep here for Sabatu. Gra holding firm. Now linking up with Mako. Gra once again. All the way to Letter. Now Lucas in the D there. He is, of course, been the keeper for the past 2 victories they had. Even starting the season. Looked like they'd really turned a corner in round 6, of course, going down 4-3 in the end to St George, but had that game won multiple times. As it proved to be, they only needed the 1 extra week before getting their first ever victory in the top flight of the NPL men's in New South Wales. Lovely little bit of skill there with the head from Chianese. Now delivered out wide here. Taken under by Nazevich, who then sweeps a pass back towards the centre. Knocked away into the path of Malfara. Sends it out to this right-hand side. Hannigan with a chance to whip it. Takes the meters on offer and now links up. Good little run here from Fernandez, beating one, and into the box he goes. And then Ryan standing firm, finds a clearance, skidding off the surface here at Ernie Smith Reserve, but good recovery from SD Raiders. They'll bring it under control. So a lot of composure about their play in the opening exchanges. Sabatu. Deep now for McGrath, who chips over the top. A well-found pass. Oh, but that flag has just been raised. And it wasn't by much. Hannigan just creeping forward. Nearly caught them unawares. So, of course, that victory against Blacktown has pushed SD Raiders out of the relegation zone. Wolves, as it stands, are pushing for a berth in that finals position. So they now deliver it out to that left-hand side. Deep once again here for Russell. Russell trying to link up further afield, but turned away. Now Hannigan under pressure, loses out. Falls here for Madden, beats one. Good skill from him, beats a second as well around Hannigan. Concerted build-up here from Wollongong. Beattie. Nice touch, beat the first man. Now chipping in behind. Sabatu first to get there and just cover the space. Now a less than convincing clearance from Lucas. Chance to finish. Good blocking though from SD Raiders. Now it's a little bit of a pinball game and eventually cleared away. But geez, there were ample opportunities for the Wolves, and I'm sure if they had their time over once again, it would have been a direct shot to test out Lucas at the back there. So maybe Madden pulls the trigger next time around. Quick release back here for Ryan. Plenty of space on this right-hand side for the Wolves, but they've gone away from it on this occasion. Now the switch is on, though. Lovely 1-2 here, finding Beattie. Beattie has a chance to carry. This time delivers for Hernandez. All the way back to Solski. Ryan with a less than convincing touch there. They got away with it though. Now a quick release. Upfield looking for Hernandez, who got the turn and gets a great first touch. Excellent control. Now the speed as well. Got around him. A lovely ball back to the middle and nearly found support. Lachlan Scott was pushing through. And that was only about half a metre away from him. So that's the first half chance of the match going the way of the Wolves. The way both teams are travelling here and what we've seen so far in 2026, I think that first goal could be all important. Both teams that feed off confidence. So Lucas now with the clearing kick, ushering his players forward. Gets plenty on it too. Booming clearance. Ryan forced into a header. Now Letta trying to bring it under control. Hernandez with a chance to get it down. Links up with Nizevic. Nizevic finding Hernandez once again. Great touch from Hernandez. Now the turning shot. What a strike from Hernandez. Swings into the top corner. Surgical precision. The jinking footwork. Whipped the boot around the defender. And that is sublime from the absolute top shelf from Martin Fernandez.
First goal tonight, number 17, Martin Fernandez.
I'll talk about quality. That is a finish of exactly that and then some. Outstanding from Martin Fernandez. Hard to believe just his second goal of the season. They don't do things in half measures, SD Raiders. There's a worldie to start the contest very early on in proceedings. After roughly 8 minutes of play. So 1-0. Home side leading, looking for 3 wins on the trot. Beattie. Ryan. Kanaizumi back out to this left-hand side. Ryan able to carry a touch. That was a clever little flick on. Asio Vecchio comes away with it. The dispossessed, and now Kianese can start to run. Will shoot from range. And I'll tell you what, had it been on target, that one had every chance of going in because Solski was well and truly off his line, so it was well identified from Kianese. Just lost his footing as he was looking to make a connection with the ball. So still early days. Important for the Wolves not to panic here. Beattie. Now Kanaizumi. Out for Ryan. Chance to carry once again. Will chip over the top early on though. Hannigan there to try and block it off. First touch made from the Wolves and Hannigan can shepherd it over the byline. Oh, geez. That's a concerning challenge. They're going to say he got the ball. Well, from this vantage point, I'm not so convinced. Now Hannigan, once again, under duress. And there's no warning delivered at all. Well, the referee's closer to the action than myself, so we'll back his judgment there. Beattie. Now Kanaizumi. Acres of space on this right-hand edge as well for the Wolves if they want to take a look at it. Sebastian Hernandez There's probably a good 20-metre radius around him at this point. Now tucks in just a touch. Yamamura arriving for a short delivery. Ryan once more chipping over the top. Good angle on it. Cleverly flicks back here and then into the path of Massimo Vecchio. And that could have easily been a grab as well, but waved away. I must say, I don't mind seeing it. The referee happy to let a little bit go here in the early stages. Quick check in here with Lachlan Scott, and good to continue. Hannigan going deep down to Lucas. Finding McGrath. Now plenty of space here all of a sudden for SD Raiders. Looking for that quick turn. Under duress by multiple defenders, but cleverly dealt with there by Marcic. Back it goes to Letta. Sabatu hugging this touchline, and they find him on this left-hand side. Lovely first-time ball, and then clipped there by Hernandez, and will get the foul. Been a very free-flowing opening 10 minutes. It's been a real stoppage to speak of. So Malfara calling for a little bit of calm here and ushering supporting players up towards the edge of the box. McGrath also pushing forward, trying to use his aerial prowess. Malfara will deliver. That one's quite wide though. Chance to connect nonetheless for SD Raiders. Back to the middle. And McGrath nearly got a foot to it. Now the counter-attack is on here. Kianese though, great coverage. Although cleverly dealt with from the Wolves. Sabatu then one out with a challenge, but now Yamamura can march forward. Hannigan stepping in the way of that pass though. Deep once again here for Letta. McGrath once again, good first touch, opens up the space. Chipping over the top here. Nice weight about it here for Marcic. Marcic with a smart use of the body, then Beattie coming back at him. Marcic will keep it in the field of play. Now Ken Izumi clearing and was collected late there by Marcic. Ken Izumi with a big song and dance there, but quickly back to his feet. Foul had already been called. Izumi directly into the sun. That's a tough one to deal with on that edge. Not much for Girate to do about it. It'll be something to keep in mind in this first half as the lights start to dim. Be more opportunities, but speaking of opportunities, Sabatu comes up with the ball, and now Fernandez dancing between defenders. Finds a chip back towards the middle, but far too close to Solski, who takes it quite easily. Now a chance to carry here for Massimo Vecchio. Russell. Ken Izumi, then for Beattie. Hernandez is there waiting for it. Loose first touch. Sabatu lost his footing. Now Madden with a chance to twist. Good pressure though. And just attempting to go over the top was Malfara, but couldn't link up with support. Still live there for Scott. Finds a lovely pass out wide, and now Girate has a chance to whip it. Sends it high. A little bit of breeze, so it hangs for a moment. Now falling here for Scott. Scott, little flick between the legs. Oh, Madden connected in the box and waved away. They're going to say incidental contact. Well, that was lucky there for SD Raiders. Izevic in that challenge. He's hit the deck and he's not looking good at the moment. It's that right boot of his. In fairness, he did strike the ball at quite an odd angle with the foot. Every chance that has caused a bit of damage to the ankle. So 14 and a half gone. And the Wolves have had a couple of good chances, and that one there could have easily gone their way. So still some running repairs here for Nizevic. He's played in all 8 games, starting in 7. Picked up a goal along the way as well in season 2026. Still haven't seen too much movement here, so this isn't a good sign for Luca. Some beautiful conditions here as well at Ernie Smith Reserve. Temperatures hovering in the low 20s, plenty of sunshine, slight breeze as well. Nizevic back to his feet now, but still hobbling away, so they'll monitor this one, SD Raiders, and hopefully he's all right to continue. And there's nothing too much of a concern about that injury. So back underway now with Ken Izumi. And Nizevic returns to the field here, still with a slight hobble. That's something he should be able to run out. Now, lovely touch there from Scott. Massimo Vecchio into the box. Girate then with a heavy touch. And SD Raiders swarming on the loose ball. Now Yamamura tries to thread it through. Massimo Vecchio was there once again. And he has looked likely so far. Now Letta, twisting, turning, and delivering deep for Lucas. McGrath finding Sabatu, and on this left-hand edge. Letta, pressured here from Massimo Vecchio, finds a good pass for Hannigan, tries to flick it on first time. Speaking of first time, nearly found its mark, that delivery. Hannigan was the intended target once again. Solski then delivering long, taken down beautifully here from Malfara, who links up now with Mako. Now to this left-hand side, Nizevic, a chance to test out that ankle. Sabatu and then deep for McGrath. Wollongong just holding the space through the middle. And that proves to be the right approach because SD Raiders then looking to force the issue, and that one goes well and truly away from any supporting players over the byline. Restart here for Ken Izumi. Short delivery then for Madden. Threads a needle here and finds Beattie. And Beattie, speaking of threading the needle, that was a sublime pass. And now Hernandez can carry. Heavy touch though. He'll be dispossessed as a result. Then Madden tripping on the ball. Mako now with a chance to turn. Scott went perilously close to being picked up for a foul. And the flag's up there. Fernandez only just offside though. He was very, very close to that defender. But the right call nonetheless. Beattie now for Ken Izumi. Ryan. Once more looking long, but instead we'll play back here to Solski. Neither team in a particular rush at this point. So now Yamamura doesn't get enough on that one. Intercepted by Malfara. Chance to carry. Russell doing enough to stop that advance, but then just a little bit too overzealous with the challenge from behind. Now Farah hits the deck, and now this is certainly within range for SD Raiders. Zevic will take control here. So they've thrown numbers forward. Fernandez is hanging out on that left-hand edge. Chianese just inside as well. Letta pushing up, as is McGrath. He came very close to getting a touch last time from a dead ball situation. Zevic will simply chip over the top, looking for Chianese. And the Wolves taking no chances with that one. Quickly headed away. Now Mako delivers deep. Sabatu. Hannigan under pressure. Finds a great ball though. Now Mako. Out for Chianese. Chance to whip it once again. This time it's low. Lovely delivery. Fernandez. That was athletic. Great tip over the top from Solski. Jeez, he's a handful in the box, Fernandez. Certainly manages to find open space, and with that athleticism, he can create something out of nothing. So for first corner of the match coming up. It will be Malfara to take it. Once again, throwing numbers forward here, SD Raiders. A chance for a second. That one hanging up very high and long, and eventually coming out of play. So the goalmouth restart to come here from the boot of the keeper. Solski will play short inside his own 18-yard, almost inside the 6-yard in the end. Now Ryan gradually heading upfield, pressured here by Fernandez. Not looking for the full press though at this point, SD Raiders. Happy to apply just a smidge of pressure and then pull back. Ryan now with a flat and long delivery, but too long in the end. Easily picked off by Lucas. Letta. Lucas once again. Now McGrath opening up the space. Oh, under pressure though from Scott. Lucas forced into a hurried clearance. Turned away there with the head of Kanaizumi into the path of Beattie. Beattie will hold the space. Kanaizumi finds a good ball through the middle though for Madden. Linking up with Massimo Vecchio. Kanaizumi, Beattie. Lovely use of the body as the ball was in motion. Then Hernandez, good first touch, but very clever delivery there from Malfara. Now Sabatu looking for Fernandez. Fernandez does have some speed and can try and shut down the space. Beattie, as a result, forced to go backwards. Clever pass there from Solski. Madden turning, finding Massimo Vecchio. Lovely ball then in return from Madden to link up with Girate. Little clip there on Massimo Vecchio. Hannigan then finding support out wide. Kanaizumi, then on for Beattie. Hernandez making a run, identified by Beattie. Sabatu takes it down. Only as far as Yamamura though, then links up with Madden. Trying to take on his opposite number in the form of Nizevic. Russell. Kanaizumi, Madden, a touch of class about that little tip on. Then into the path of Hernandez, getting himself between Sabatu and the ball. And a great little recovery there from Mako, who comes to assist Sabatu and comes away with the foul. That was very well done. Big, imposing physical presence of Thomas Mako. Causing a few issues there for Hernandez. Speaking of issues now, SD Raiders getting underway quickly. They have space on this right-hand side, though, shut down by Massimo Vecchio. Oh, Russell then with Ray studs. Now, Hannigan went through him, and that's why the foul has gone the way of the Wolves. But, geez, Russell had to be careful there too. For a moment, those studs were showing. Ryan, now Massio Vecchio. Trying to link up with Madden. Flicked on. Kanaizumi doesn't get a clear head on that one. Went straight up. Now Fernandez will tip over the top. Beattie takes it down, but now Nazevic is there to clean up the scraps. Cutting inside, chance for the shot. Nazevic will strike it. Takes a deflection, out for another corner.
Circuit, look off it. Circuit.
A bit similar to Madden's effort in that first half. At the very beginning of this first half, I should say. Had the chance to pull the trigger early. Nazevic probably had the opportunity for a cleaner shot before that second touch. Now we'll take it short here. And then looking for a little return for Malfara, but in the end, a little bit too clever. That one once more goes for a goal kick.
Stay high. Vicky, drop. Stay high.
Now Ryan Russell, and then that was a very risky pass across the face of goal. As a result, Beattie's hemmed into a corner. Chianese now stepping high. Chipped over the top from Solski. Clever pass that one. Finding Beattie. Doesn't panic. Links up with Yamamura. Finds Scott. Now Yamamura looking for a big, long floating switch. Great control from Massio Vecchio. Linking up with him is Girarte on the outside. Chips it back to the middle. Now into the top of the arm there of Hannigan, but there was no change or shift in the gate. So referee calling that as a ball to arm situation as opposed to any undoing from Hannigan. It does result in a first corner here for the Wolves. A chance to apply pressure for the first time in some time as well. That one whipped in, right on the money. Ryan got a flick on, and then for minor touch off SD Raiders thereafter. But they'll say, final touch must have come off Scott. So 17 and a half remaining in this first half. Couple of strikes on goal for SD Raiders, one of them resulting in the go-ahead. Wolves haven't really challenged Lucas as of yet. That one cleared over the top. Kanaizumi gets a foot to it, but very loose control once again from Kanaizumi. He's had a couple of nervy moments. Now Massio Vecchio taking off, beats the first man in the form of Marcic. Now finds Scott, looking for the return ball. Madden has the strike. Great save from Lucas at full stretch down low. That was certainly on target from Madden. This time there was no hesitation in pulling the trigger. So another corner to come here. The Wolves building pressure. Be Madden to deliver. Looking for Scott. Turned away with the head though. Mako on the follow-up. Now Sabatu. Attempted clearance. Goes straight up. Finds a second one with the head though. Now Chianese delivers over the top. Taken down nicely. Nazevic with a quick release back for Marcic, who's quick but not quite quick enough. And Beattie is then fouled.
Oi! We gotta get out to 10 earlier. And if lines are checking in, step out with them. Get man with me.
It's a quick restart here from Beattie. Back to Ryan. So the tempo has been upped here from Wollongong. SD Raiders need to be careful in this next 5 or so minute period. Right now, though, it's the Wolves who need to be careful. Carelessly turning it over. Delivery back to the middle. Too deep, and Solski gets there on the full. Madden, Yamamura, back to Madden, quick release. So much time in his play, Madden. Player of some real class. Now Hernandez takes it down with the chest. Good control along the sideline. Blink and you'll miss it. That was very swift work from Hernandez. Back to the middle. Scott has the attempt with the head. Not too far off the mark. That's very sharp, though, from Sebastian Hernandez out on that right wing. Oh, Lucas then with a dreadful clearance. Scott, as a result, steps inside of one. Chance now for Yamamura to bury it straight on target, and then Scott with the follow-up. A horrible moment there at the back from Lucas with the attempted clearance. Gifts a goal to Wollongong, and the Wolves are level. One apiece with about 15 to play in the first half. A goal that should never have been conceded. So Scott finding a way past there with the head. It's all locked up, one apiece now. McGrath finding Mako. Letter. Quick turn. Credit to the Wolves, though. They were building pressure for the past 5 or so minutes. I mentioned they had to be wary of the SD Raiders, and that's come to fruition. Madden now. Such calm and poise with his play once again. Little chip over the top looking for Hernandez. Gets there on the full, but is offside. He's looking to deliver straight to the middle with that volley. I dare say we won't see any similar attempted clearance now from Lucas. This will be straight upfield. Lucas now looking for Kianese. Clever use of the chest, linking up with Nazevic. And the last touch there for mine off SD Raiders. And it will be overturned now. That is certainly the right call. Beattie delivering deep now for Ken Izumi. Not a convincing touch back there for Solski, who was under all sorts of pressure. Now Yamamura tipping it on. Scott attempting to link up with Madden. Finds Yamamura. Masio Vecchio now has a bit of space. And plenty of players in support. That was a clever release out to Girate. Then sends it back to the middle, looking for Madden, turned away with the head of McGrath. Marcic, now Malfara. Linking up with Hannigan. Chipping over the top, Marcic flicking on for Kianese, just couldn't get enough behind it. Beattie. Madden. Beattie once again over the top. McGrath losing his bearings on that attempted clearance, but bounces favourably here for Mako, and then McGrath will try and knock it forward. Beattie meets it with the chest. Eventually here for Fernandez, who simply wants to clear his lines. Kianese with a lovely little tip on with the head, and Nazevic can keep it in the field of play. Chance now to whip it in. Nazevic looking for support, blocked there by Beattie. Fernandez now wrapping around, but Nazevic will go direct. Kianese nearly got a head to it, but the cross itself kept whipping towards the post and nearly found a way in. Nervy moment there for Solski, who was left unsighted after the attempted header from Kianese. Plenty of chances in this first half for both teams. Now Ken Izumi knocks it forward into acres of space there for Auckland Scott. Needed a bit more patience though with that particular bit of control. Instead trying to knock it forward straight away. McGrath Sabatu. Zevich, lovely quick release there for Mako, and now Mako navigating. Links up with Malfara under a little bit of pressure. McGrath once more. Letter. Malfara, clever touch, beats Madden. Vecchio trying to shut down the space, but that's a beautiful ball found from Malfara. Nezevich gets it under control. Once again, we'll look for the long-range effort. Oh, tipped there away from Solski. A good save. I think it may have just been missing, potentially hitting the post, but that was a good save there with the right glove from Daniel Solski. It was only slight, but he's certainly got fingertips to it. So Nezevich has caused a couple of big saves from Solski in this first half. Another corner to come, 3-2 now in that department. It's in favour of SD Raiders, with just over 9 minutes remaining in this first half. Once again, Malfara will look to deliver. That one low, not too far away. And it rattled the goals as well. Actually hit the back of the netting. Now Kanaizumi. Russell. First touch. Gets himself away from Nezevich and then delivers deep here once again for Solski. Kanaizumi under pressure. Quick release for Beatty. Beatty then turning a pass up towards Hernandez. Madden, Scott, Vecchio takes it down. Beautiful shutting of the space there from Letter, the captain for SD Raiders. Can be a very tricky customer, Vecchio, so important not to allow him too much breathing room. Scott now travelling a long way to link up. He's concerned there about the high foot. Ultimately, he got away with it. Mako. Nezevich. Took an awkward bounce there just before it arrived at the feet of Mako as a result. Did pretty well under pressure in the end. Deep now for Lucas once again. Lucas finding a little bit of space here for Marcic, who tries to flick it on. Kanaizumi calmly distributing over the top to Hernandez. Marcic is there. Sabatu blocking the space and then is clipped from behind. And there's a foul for SD Raiders. Letter. Mako and then deep once again here for Letter. Putting that one directly in front of McGrath. As a result, the first touch opens up the space. Sabatu then finding a good pass here for Marcic. He'll keep it in the field of play as well. Quick release back to Fernandez. It wasn't quite crisp enough though. Vecchio with a great touch there as now Madden takes off. Pursued by Malfara. Madden twisting away from the pair of them and will get the foul. Fernandez has unfortunately been starved of good ball for SD Raiders. Only really had the one clean chance. It certainly slotted that one away. Flicking it on with the heel. Fernandez taking it down. That's a better touch from him. Mako strong in that challenge. Sabatu. Now Farah then looking for Chianese. Flicks on. Oh, but he's offside, unfortunately, Marcic. The flag is up. Waved away now, though. Nezevich was there steaming through in support. Marcic never looked at him, though. Well, he was in acres of space, and that flag was waved away, so that would have been play on. Fernandez. Oh, was there a handball on the ground? Play on the call for now. And eventually goes for a throw-in, but that's a chaotic 30 seconds across the board. Hannigan, Fernandez, Now McGrath, quick release for Nezevic. Threatened to flick it on, instead takes the touch back to the middle. Sabatu pushing through. Beattie gets a touch on it and clears his line. So throw in to come. A chance potentially for a late one in this first half for SD Raiders. Sabatu looking to find Fernandez, turned away by Madden, then chips for Scott. Scott will send it wide now for Durante. Acres of space in front of him. Marcic eventually arriving to shut things down. Foul is called, and this is in good field position too, so genuine chance for the Wolves. It's been a very even first half, but they would love to get their noses in front for the first time in this match. Goal so far for Fernandez for SD Raiders and Scott for Wollongong Wolves. Now chipping over the top. Awkward bounce here for Lucas, but Ryan a little bit too far away from it. In the end, easily dealt with. Now Lucas sends it long. Chianese is onside. Oh, that attempted clearance there was less than convincing. They're going to stay offside in the end here, so Chianese only just. But skipping off the surface here at Ernie Smith Reserve, and it nearly fooled Solski. Ryan now will come to Beattie. Hernandez arrived as a short option, but Beattie will chip over the top, looking for territory. Lucas now with a high and wide clearance. With just over 3 minutes remaining. Beattie looking for Yamamura, flicks it on with the head now. Scott back to the middle. Madden trying to get under control. Does a great job to somehow take possession away from Marcic. Russell then can't link up. Fernandez steps in front of the pass. Then a lovely ball over the top looking for Chianese. Russell in recovery. Cleans up the loose ball. Kanaizumi. Madden under duress, but somehow wins out once again. Now looks to thread the needle. Not quite enough on it for Hernandez. 2:20 on the clock in this first half. Haven't had too much in the way of injuries or stoppages. The longest was pretty early on with Nezevic hitting the deck. Kanaizumi finds Yamamura. Now Hannigan takes the intercept and marches forward. He's looking to link up with Nezevic. Oh, and then Ray starts there. This will be a problem for Kanaizumi. And then tempers really flaring thereafter. Well, it's going to be yellow for Kanaizumi. That came out very quickly. But there might be a bit more to sort out off the back of that. I'm not sure who it was rushing in. But it didn't look good. Letta is trying to calm tensions here and just quell the response from our referee. There's the yellow for Kanaizumi for that reckless challenge. I think there might be another one, though, for the man rushing in. There'll be a report now from our sideline official. So I think it might be Cooper Hannigan who's the man in trouble here. although that's where it's going to stand. So a pretty good result in the end there for SD Raiders because that flared up quickly. So Kanaizumi on a yellow card. Alfara with some running repairs. Certainly wasn't a good challenge though from Kanaizumi. So 3 additional minutes added on here for injuries and stoppages. And Nazevich and Malfara over the top of this one. Golden chance to take the lead late in this first half. So regulation time has transpired. We're already into that additional time now. Nazevich has a great strike on him. This one only about 25 metres away from the goal mouth, so well and truly in range. Does he go direct? Here is Nazevich now, has the strike into the head of Ryan, who flicks it away. And another corner coming up, so the danger not done with yet. Nazevich will look to deliver once again here. They've thrown numbers forward, SD Raiders. Nazevich, low delivery. Kianazi somehow got a great angle on it as he was diving. And it forced a save from Solski, who's had plenty of work to do in this first half. 1-1 it remains though. Sabatu knocking it forward. Russell takes it down. Mako, and then for Fernandez through the legs of Beattie. And then cleverly dealt with by Russell. Now Madden, Durate. Yamamura chipping over the top. Scott, has he kept his onside? Yes, he has. Flicks it back towards the middle, and it will just end up missing wide of the post before Hernandez goes over the top. And Hernandez, it looks like, was offside. Scott, though, very, very close. And once again, that kind of came out of nowhere. So the Wolves have been very opportunistic. There's been, in some ways, more quality in the build-up by SD Raiders in this first half. There's been moments for the Wolves, but their closest opportunities have come off the back of errors from SD Raiders. Long now with Beattie, meeting it with the head. Nazevich perfectly positioned though. Marcic now wrapping around at speed. Heavy first touch though, back to the middle, and Beattie clears it away. If that was a little tighter to the body, there was a genuine chance there for SD Raiders. So there can't be too much more time remaining here in this first half. Alfara looking to deliver here. Mako marching into the box as well. Perhaps the last chance. Solski got above them beautifully. Took it like an AFL mark. So delivering short here for Durante. Whistle to the mouth, and that will do it for the first half. A good battle between two teams in red-hot form at the moment, of course. The Wolves, 10 points from their past 4 games. They haven't lost since round 4. And the SD Raiders coming off back-to-back wins to jump up out of the relegation zone. But at half-time break, we can't split the difference. All locked up, 1 goal apiece. Don't go too far. The second half getting underway shortly for round 9 of the NPL Men's New South Wales from Ernie Smith Reserve. Welcome back to Ernie Smith Reserve in Sydney's southwest. SD Raiders and Wollongong Wolves all locked up. After that first half, a great strike from Martin Fernandez put SD Raiders in front, but then an error at the back allowed Lachlan Scott to pounce. So 1-1 the score now, with Raiders searching for 3 straight victories. Of course, Wollongong Wolves undefeated since round 4. This would also make it 3 on the trot, though, if they could get a win here. Fernandez, short delivery, and then finding Sabatu. Made a change at the break as well now, with Riley Cox-Barlow out there in the 19. Now Hannigan finding a bit of space on this right-hand side. Not a strong touch, though. That one has gone well and truly away from its intended mark. And easy clearance from Ryan as a result. Marcic dispossessed now from Hernandez, who beats another and now puts on the speed. Hernandez down the sideline. Good carry from Hernandez, and then eventually fell there by McGrath. So Cox-Barlow has been a little bit of a super sub for them. 6 prior appearances this season, 3 of them off the bench. Scored a goal a couple of weeks ago against Manly in that 3-1 win. Here's the change that's been made at the break here for SD Raiders. It's now Madden, who was ultra impressive in that first half, looks to feed it in. Lovely delivery, that was right on the money for Yamamura, who just couldn't find a finish with the head. Couldn't have asked for a better delivery, just not quite finding the mark, though. Remains locked up at 1 apiece, but some great performances in that first half. Alfaro was very solid for SD Raiders, as was Nizevic. Extremely dangerous with some of his probing efforts. A couple of shots that nearly found the back of the net. Fernandez was able to do that. Now Scott certainly with hands in the back there, but not called as such. Marcic, Malfara. Just trying to link up with Cox-Barlow. Now space out wide here for Beattie, who's on the charge and will somehow keep it in the field of play. Good speed from Beattie. Links up with Massio Vecchio, and the space is shut down by McGrath. Quick throw taken. Massio Vecchio back to Beattie. Beattie dispossessed by Fernandez. Once again, off the throw. This time finding Scott in the box. Quickly cleared away by Chianese. Cox-Barlow pushing through, nearly came up with possession. Now Malfara chips over the top. Once again looking for Cox-Barlow, who does get a touch to it. It's the chance to hold it up now. Chianese wrapping around the edge of the box and then looking to deliver deep here for Fernandez. A little bit too deep, though. And ultimately out of the reach of Fernandez. Sabatu. Now Farah trying to squeeze inside Yamamura. Clever use of the shoulder, blocked the space. And now quick release here from Massio Vecchio. Out for Hernandez, who's swapped over to this left-hand side. Hernandez looking to cut, finds a good ball here for Madden. Heavy touch. Madden tries to get the shot away. It's shut down, though, by SD Raiders. Well, that was a bit crisper, that first touch from Madden. It was a golden opportunity. And Hernandez meekly turning over possession once again. It'll now come out to Sebastian Hernandez for the Wolves. And he'll take on Hannigan here with plenty of speed. And Hannigan shoulder to shoulder there, but Hernandez trying to draw the foul and referee not biting. Hannigan. Letter. And McGrath. Sabatu. Tough pass there for Mako, but somehow they'll stay in possession. Only for the moment, though, because now there's a chance for Madden to turn. Masio Vecchio flicking a pass there for Madden. Lovely turn from him. Still staying alive. Tries to thread the needle then for Lachlan Scott. Dispossessed, and now Malfara with a screwball over the top. Clever from Girate. Russell, quick release. Hernandez dispossessed by Hannigan. Malfara hits the deck and will get the call. And again now for Letter. Sabatu. And Mamura shutting down the space there on McGrath. Lucas then chipping over the top, only goes as far as the half, and easy pickings there for Girate. Brings it down now for Hernandez. Mako stepping in front of that pass and takes possession. Now quickly releasing for Marcic on this right-hand side. Threading the needle, looking for Cox Barlow. And eventually cleared away there by Kanaizumi, who is on a yellow. Fernandez bringing it down with the head. Good release for Marcic. Now Hannigan inside the box, has the strike, not too far away. If it was on target, he put plenty behind it. There wouldn't have been much that Solski could have done about it. A little bit too high and too wide. Russell back to the middle for Scott. Linking with Madden via the chest. Madden then keeps it on the deck. Nice pass there for Masio Vecchio. Oodles of space out on this left-hand side. Yamamura, first-time release for Scott, who hits the deck. Cleared away, though, by SD Raiders. And now Hernandez can carry once again. Fernandez, I should say. So Beattie with the restart. Russell. Ryan. And Girate then dispossessed, and now Marcic keeps it in the field of play. Good chance here. Marcic turns it to the middle. Cox Barlow on target with the head. Solski gets up. And very much in the vein of holding up the big whopper from Hungry Jacks, takes it with two hands. Now carting it forward and looking for Scott. Good first touch, opening up the play. Strong challenge from McGrath. First time release. They were looking for Cox Barlow, who's been full of running since entering the action. And another change about to be made here. In fact, a double change for SD Raiders. Change being made here with Charlie Ragg entering the action for Thomas Marco, and also the second man entering is Lachlan Everett, who will replace Marcic. So three changes since the resumption of play here for SD Raiders. None as of yet for Wollongong. Girate, and linking up over the top. All the way back there for Letta. McGrath. McGrath now looking long. Question mark there about Charlie Ragg, and yes, the flag is up, so that one offside every day of the week. Now Ken Izumi linking up with Scott. Smart release there for Russell, who was under pressure there from Letta. Clipping that attempted pass, and wide of the mark it went. Now Everett. And Girate beating two of them cleverly, then linking with Russell. Chance for the counter-attack. Lovely pass from Russell out to Massimo Vecchio. Chance to whip it in. Scott was on the mark. Turned away with the head, though. Madden trying to bring it down. Fernandez. A good job there. Eventually linking up. Into the back then of Girate. Potentially a high foot from Scott. Malfara will stay alive, though. Now out for Chianese. Chianese hasn't had much of a look on goal so far, but threads the needle beautifully. In for Ragg, and Ragg, no, Cox Barlow in the end trying to finish. And just to the left-hand side of the post. What a tremendous ball, though, from Chianese. So now over the top and looking for Scott. Turned away with the head, Fernandez. Back for Sabatu. McGrath. And Letta now opening up the play. Chance to carry a touch and then link up with Hannigan alongside the wing here. And then a little bit wider still it goes now for Charlie Ragg. Ragg, oh, looking for the bicycle kick there was Cox Barlow. Falls for Fernandez, who'd love a second. And he went back to the man who was still on the deck there in the form of Cox Barlow. Well, perhaps he would have been better off going directly at goal. So plenty of chances here for SD Raiders. Over the top they go looking for Hernandez. Great weight on that pass. Hernandez will connect. Dancing through the middle. There's a chance to link up with Massimo Vecchio. Couldn't quite find him. Letta holding firm. Deeper comes now for Girate. Linking with Russell. Russell chipping over the top. Sabatu with a good clearance and then taken down here from Cox Barlow. Now look at Sabatu. Motor forward. He's got some speed, but so too does Russell, who shuts him down. Goes all the way back now for Solski. There was plenty of pepper on that pass too. Massimo Vecchio, that's a clever flick over the top. Looking for Scott. Great strength from him. McGrath, though, was equal to the task. Everett. Quick release here for Malfara. Finding Hannigan. Oh, Hannigan then set upon there by Girate. No question marks about that one. Now, Farah was initially looking to get on with it quickly, but the call from the bench came. Slow things down, set it up. Chance for the set piece. So Solski organising his wall of defenders. Now Farah looking to put this right on the spot. Over the top, good weight about it. Turned away though with the head from Wollongong Wolves. Everett immediately flings it back into the action. Now Girate. Clever clearance out to Hernandez. Rag preventing further encroachment. As Cox Barlow also applies the pressure now. Chianese will get a deflection and it nearly falls into the path of Cox Barlow. Now Massimo Vecchio under pressure. Good touch there from Malfara. Looking to find that final touch once again, but Dylan Ryan did enough to clear it away. Girarte, first time release here for Hernandez, who time and time again has beaten his man when it's a one-on-one situation. This time, the stutter step before finding support. Now Girarte going for the direct option, looking for Scott. Hernandez only goes as far as Fernandez for SD Raiders. Madden threatening to link up out wide. Instead, plays to Russell. Strong challenge there from Letta. Ryan. Russell. Now Yamamura in acres of space. Threading the needle here, looking for Massimo Vecchio. Just didn't get enough on it. Quick turn now from Cox Barlow. Yamamura, though, very strong in the challenge. Wins out. Massimo Vecchio under pressure. Set upon by Fernandez. Quick throw, though. Scott with a twist and a turn. And then nearly found the right pass. He was looking for Madden. Everett. Now chipping over the top. Looking for the run of Rag, and then Hannigan cleverly takes it away. Flicks it on now for Charlie Rag once again. Back to the middle. Not a great delivery, though. Madden, clever first turn. Now Malfara under pressure. And a little bit too much pressure there is the foul call. Now Ryan with a chance to carry. Girarte. Knocking deep, all the way back into the path of Solski. And Kanaizumi, who's been quiet in this second half. Madden, chipping forward, looking for Scott. Dispossessed, and now Hannigan once again. Chianese was looking for that first-time release, and it was inches away from finding the money. Chianese with a second delivery. Shut down once again. This time by Yamamura. Back into the path of Chianese. Now Hannigan. Good first touch, then cutting it. Nobody there waiting for it, though. Now Farah, Everett. Taking off and then linking up here with Hannigan. Lovely switch of play. Pinpoint accuracy out to Fernandez. Takes it down now. Fernandez from the edge. Looking for that little quick wrap around. Then Rag on the follow-up odds. Hits the inside of the post. Somehow doesn't go in. Turned away there by Madden. Well, that one dribbled across the face of goal. Now Chianese trying to get the flick on. Can't direct it correctly. And geez, it doesn't get much closer than that for the Raiders. Ryan with a quick restart back here for Solski. Ryan creeping forward and presenting as an option, and now tries to link up with Massimo Vecchio. Ryan knocking it forward. Everett well cut off by Madden. And a lovely release once again from Madden. So much class in his play. Chipped over the top now into no man's land, so Beattie had to get on his bike. Got there in time and links up with Russell. Ryan to Kanaizumi. Russell then chipping over the top. Far too much weight on that pass, though. Looks like the Raiders are preparing for another change here as well, as Hannigan now takes off upfield and over halfway. Good weight about that pass for Rag. Chance to cut it back now. Rag back to the middle. Chianese still there. Fernandez gets a touch. Now Chianese can't get it past the defender. Madden shut it down. But I think he might have been better off leaving it for Fernandez. And Massimo Vecchio dispossessed by Hannigan. And over the sideline it goes. Now Yamamura. Everett turning it back to the middle. Fernandez with a chance to carry once again. Trying to flick it through, looking for Cox Barlow. Ryan, and then Kanaizumi. Looks like Ball and D'Agostini both preparing to enter the action here for Wollongong Wolves. They're up off the bench now. Girate, good challenge there from Hannigan, but Yamamura maintains control. Ryan to Kanaizumi. Massimo Vecchio has opened up a bit of space here now. They find him on this occasion. Quick release now, looking for Girate. Keeps it in the field of play, then Everett makes the challenge. And a couple of changes now being made here by Wollongong.
Double substitution for Wollongong Wolves. Number 7, Felipe D'Agostini.
So Massimo Vecchio, who has been very good for them, and Flynn Madden. So arguably their two best here so far, the Wolves. That's an interesting change made. As the pair depart for Felipe D'Agostini and Liam Ball respectively. So Girate then linking up with Scott, chipping it over the top, looking for Russell. Arrives wide here for Hernandez. Swing and a miss from him. Now D'Agostini with his first touch on, nearly brilliant. Chipped over the top and then on the half volley. Forced Lucas into a big dive and it only just missed. What a way to mark your entry into the action. And despite all the action in this second half, it still remains 1-1. So Lucas now up over halfway. Chianese once again gets the flick on. Kanaizumi, no chances with that one, clearing his lines. D'Agostini, lovely first time touch there. As Scott cuts back in, threads a needle. Strong defence though from McGrath. Now Russell under pressure, turns away from Cox Barlow, then attempts for the switch, but Sabatu is well positioned. Takes it down with the header, now has a chance to carry. Now Cox Barlow has made the run and Sabatu spots it. Into Cox Barlow's feet. Trying to link up back towards the middle. Sabatu's still there. That's where they go now. McGrath with space to work with on this right-hand side. Malfara looking to carry. D'Agostini steps in the way of that pass. Little rollover. Then dancing. Scott, lovely flick on. Chance to carry now for Ball. Ball sends it wide for Hernandez. Hernandez looking for the early delivery to the middle, far too deep.
All right, let's go.
Letter all the way back to Lucas. Letter once again to Lucas, and then Rag arriving as a short option. Chianese once again winning that aerial battle. And now Cox Barlow twisting, turning. Acting like a corkscrew there for the defenders as now Fernandez comes up with the loose ball. Had the chance to sling the shot in once again. Hannigan instead will deliver to the middle. Takes it down with plenty of time and then tries to thread it inside the near post. But there was options galore back to the middle. There's been a lot of half chances for SD Raiders that haven't been capitalised. Kanaizumi then for Russell. Ryan. Yamamura then chipping over the top. Finds Jurate. Takes it down with the chest. Up along the sideline. Finding a nice ball here for D'Agostini. Now the dancing feet come out for the Italian. Lovely skill there to beat Everett on the first attempt, but then Hannigan was there in coverage. Everett then a little flick up and clearance. Rag linking with Fernandez. Once again makes it look simple. Taken down by Ball. Yamamura. Now having a little look at things. Scott somehow keeps it alive. Back to Yamamura. And for Beatty. Yamamura in complete control. Staving off defenders with a gliding walk as he took control. Sabatu then, good use of the body. Been solid tonight, Sabatu, deputising for McHugh Shaw. So throw in to come here for the Wolves. In good territory. Beatty long delivery. Oh, Scott with a big push in the back there and picked up by the referee. And it looks like Thomas Santarossa about to enter the action as well.
Substitution for the Raiders, number 11, Thomas Santarossa.
So 4 substitutes used now. And this time Fernandez will depart. So scored a cracking goal in that first half. Martin Fernandez. That means the entire front line outside of Chianese has now been replaced. Chianese once again looking to take it down in the air, but this time Kanaizumi won out. Probably the first loss he's had in an aerial battle today. And now Hernandez driving forward. And a good slide tackle there from McGrath. And positioning himself between the man with the ball. That one will, however, go for a corner. It will be D'Agostini to take it. D'Agostini with a long delivery here for Ryan. Turns it back to the middle. Scott, the attempted shot as he was swinging and turning. Now Beatty chips back over the top. Easily dealt with by McGrath. Kanaizumi then heading it forward. Sabatu with some aerial ping pong. Then chipped over the top now looking for Cox Barlow, who's very quick. Nearly got there in time. Beatty delivers deep now for Solski. Calmly finds Ryan. And now Jurate can carry. Rag does a great job to shut down the space and prevent further encroachment. Jurate chipping back to the middle looking for Scott. Lucas very aware of the situation though and came out quickly to shut it down. Now Malfara chipping long looking for Charlie Rag. Great first time touch. Hannigan wrapping around. Rag then chipping back to the middle for Chianese, who certainly directed it toward the back post, but that was a golden opportunity that probably should have been buried. Now chipping over the top for Hernandez. It could turn sour very quickly here for SD Raiders. Hernandez in and away. Chance to chip back to the middle. And then taken over the byline there by McGrath. So another corner to come for Wolves. With a little more clinical execution, they probably could have had an extra 2 in this second half, the Raiders. So D'Agostini now to deliver. Once again, long and high. Nearly found the head of Scott. Turn back to the middle now. Malfara gets going very quickly. Takes it down with a chest. Chips over the top. Looking now for Santa Rosa. His first touch and he's in on goal. Santa Rosa has the strike. Hits the side netting. Well, that would have been an even better introduction than we saw from D'Agostini with his first touch nearly scoring. That was close too. Now ball. All the way back for Girate. Kanaizumi, then for Beatty. Beatty, quick release back to the middle. So about 14 and a half remaining here as Ryan now chips over the top looking for Scott. D'Agostini gets ahead to it. Not a good clearance there from Letta. As a result, D'Agostini can take them on once again. 2-on-1 situation and the numbers prevail. Hannigan, then around D'Agostini. Girate, then under duress. Dancing, got away from Rag. Hannigan still chasing. And a good challenge from Hannigan. And then Russell coming in, and that will be a card. Well, that was a cynical foul there from Tate Russell. He knew they were in trouble. Maybe a bit of emotion too, given the back and forth interaction between Girate and Hannigan on that occasion. But Hannigan kept his cool and wins the foul. It's a quick restart here. Now Hannigan taking four. We've had 2 yellows so far for Kanaizumi. As now Kianazi nearly got the touch, but Kanaizumi and now, of course, Russell. So Rag will have the throw. Hannigan stepping forward to take it instead. And we'll go for the long effort, looking for Kianazi. Turned away with the head from Girate. Then Yamamura, Everett sends it high. Falls here for Malfara. Malfara can't get the shot away. Good pressure there through the middle from Ball. Rag then delivering toward the back post and well taken by Stolsky. Now Kanaizumi chipping over the top. Once again looking for Hernandez. Sabatu takes it down. Not convincingly though, but the second touch was a good one. However, there was a little stray boot that then came through and clipped Hernandez. And that's why the foul has been called. So this one in good position. And D'Agostini is ushered away by Russell, who is commanding the situation. They've thrown Ryan forward. Hernandez also through the middle. And Kanaizumi. Direct option potentially. Or Kanaizumi nearly got a boot to it. There's a good delivery there from Tate Russell, but offside the call here against Kanaizumi. And more changes to be made now for Wollongong.
Number 77,
Dylan King entering the action. And Lucas Trzeski also entering the action here. And Dylan Ryan, the man to make way at the back. Looks like Hernandez is the other man who's exited via the far side of the ground. Now Kianazi, lovely release here. Charlie Ragg is onside, or just needed a little bit more composure with the finish. That was another huge opportunity for SD Raiders. He was at full tilt, but just had to guide it. didn't really need to put anything behind it. So time running out now to try and put themselves in front. They've certainly had their chances. 10.5 remaining. They certainly look like the more likely of the two here, SD Raiders. D'Agostini taking the ground, but no foul called. Ball stays alive with the play. Now Durate out on this left-hand side. Back to Russell through the middle. And Ball. Good first touch. Opens up the space. Delivers deep once again here for Durate. Durate then trying to find Scott. Hannigan holding firm. Durate and Scott combining. And come away with possession. Now Ball a chance to carry. Links up through the middle. That time with Trajewski. Russell.
Stay out wide, Riley. Stay central now, Toddy.
Beatty. Hop and a skip to open up the space once again. Back to Beatty.
Toddy, now left. Now left.
Yamamura. Then for Ball. Durate, lovely pass that one to find D'Agostini, who then whips it back to Durate, sending it toward the middle, and a little bit too much on it. Hits the top of the netting. Still, we are locked at one apiece. So 8.5 remaining. All the momentum with SD Raiders. All the chances really in the second half have been with them. The Wolves have largely built their pressure through corners. There's probably been 5 genuine chances for SD Raiders, including hitting the post and then the ball dribbling along the goal line itself. Speaking of ball, he was on it just then. Durate. D'Agostini under pressure, flicking it down the sideline, but not with the right angle. Now Hannigan over the top, trying to get above Yamamura, who's one of the tallest players on the field, so that's a tough task. Russell under pressure. Sabatu missing out on that occasion. Taken away here from Dylan King, who beats one, beats two. Then find D'Agostini. Chance for him to cut now. Can he get the shot away? Shut down. King will take it down himself. Durate then chipping forward, finding Scott nearly. No, punched away from Lucas. Well met. Now Hannigan with a touch of class, but D'Agostini with even more of that. And then Letta knocking it forward. Chianese will now look long and wide. Cox Barlow on the run. Good recovery from Russell. Beatty up against Cox Barlow. Yamamura cool as a cucumber in turning that one away from the pressure and then finding support. Russell much the same. Yamamura then delivering deep here into the path of Solski. Back to Yamamura. A lot of movement further afield for the Wolves, just trying to identify the right man. It was nearly Scott. Hannigan with a chance to take it down. Durate wins that aerial battle. Then chipped over the top early here from Ball. Sabatu had to get ahead to it, did a good job. Now, still alive here for the Wolves though. Chance to whip it in, played at, and that will be a corner. So D'Agostini looking to get this one right on the spot. With under 6 minutes remaining now. Once again, looks to be thereabouts. Turned away, though, by SD Raiders, and then a long clearance from Cox Barlow. Solski returning serve, looking for Yamamura. Good job there in the end from Letta. Now Malfara looking for the switch and finds it beautifully. Good control as well from Charlie Ragg. Now a chance to take off. Beat Trajewski. Couldn't beat Durate though. Good cover defence. Then strong from Malfara, who looks to thread the needle now for Charlie Ragg. Beatty though. Great speed. Cuts it off. Now a chance to thread the needle down the sideline. Does exactly that. Durate. Then for Scott. Letta comes up with a good challenge though, and then just trying to squeeze a pass there was Ball. It's always going to be a tough one to find though. Fatigue starting to set in. Ragg unfortunately not on the run on that occasion, but the pass was on. 4.5 remaining. Russell. He found the right pass but just couldn't execute. Durate was in acres of space, but now he hasn't turned quickly enough, and as a result, Ragg is on the move. Ragg then under pressure by Russell, who quickly returns serve. Chipped over the top now from Trajewski, who heads it forward for D'Agostini. Tries to cut back on the inside. McGrath clearing. Taken down by Ball. Ball back to Scott, who is pressured, but no foul. Chianese once again over the top. Finds a great ball here for Cox Barlow. Now linking up once again, this time for Santa Rosa, who eventually gets around his man and then pulled to ground there by King. That will be another card. So they've incurred 3 now. I'm about to see final change made here for SD Raiders.
Substitution.
This time, Ham Dongwa set to enter the action, and it will be at the expense of Malfara. Unfortunately, the rain has stayed away this afternoon. It's actually been great conditions in the N4 football. It was pouring down this morning, certainly further east around the harbour. Hasn't really pushed this far into the west into the afternoon, but certainly saw a little bit this morning. It's now Everett set to deliver. Can he find the marks? It's a decent ball in. Dongwa, potentially with his first touch, was looking to get something away there. Now Yamamura cleverly flicks a pass on. Quick release once again. Oh, Dongwa with the attempted turn. Durate with a risky challenge, but he got the ball. Hannigan, Dongwa, Everett. So a late injection of energy here for Ham Dongwa. Lovely ball over the top for Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa offside though, and misses the finish regardless. Time ticking away now for both teams, but these Raiders who are pushing harder for that go-ahead goal. Minute 40 on the clock as D'Agostini. A quick release here for Durate, who will then take the throw. Scott looking to flick it on. A mesh of bodies that eventually falls for McGrath. Sabatu trying to chip over the top, not a convincing one at all. And then sliding through, that's a problem for Sabatu. That'll be yellow. Well, the Wolves have actually got the wrong man there. They've taken on Santa Rosa, who had nothing to do with it. And eventually, the yellow is delivered here for Sabatu. Paul Santa Rosa was the innocent bystander. So Russell now from range looking to find that penalty spot. Long ball in. Can Izumi hits the deck. Easy take for Lucas, and now Hannigan has the chance to carry. There's space here. Early pass now for Rag. Rag will turn. He's looking for Santa Rosa. He's taking his eyes off it. Santa Rosa then diving for it. Rag coming forward as well. Makes the challenge. Just a little too much on it though. The ball goes over the byline. Now time is the enemy. So 5 seconds of regulation time remaining. We'll find out how much is set to be added in just a moment. And it's 3 more minutes at a minimum for injuries and stoppages. Long once again. Rag, though, meeting it nicely with the head. Everett knocking it forward. Kianese tips it on. Yamamura calmly knocking it up. Now, Cox Barlow gets his body in front of the ball, keeps it in the field of play. Done a great job there in the end, Riley Cox Barlow, to apply the pressure. Hasn't quite come out yet, and that was intentional there from Beattie, and he will see yellow as a result. Well, that was unnecessary from Beattie. Probably would have ended up going over the byline regardless. So Everett now with the delivery. They've thrown just about everybody forward. Hannigan is back, as is Santa Rosa. Otherwise, it's all hands on deck here for both SD Raiders and the Wollongong Wolves. Everett to deliver. Not a good ball at all. Straight into the path of Solsky. Nobody even able to make a play at it. Now Everett carting it forward. Chipped ahead by Scott. Missed there by SD Raiders. Sabatu, then with a juggling act, is dispossessed. Back to the middle for ball. Space now for Durante, and they find it. Durante linking up with Diagostini. Back to Durante. Then for Russell. Russell, Kanaizumi. Back to Russell. Good first touch. Everett, though, strong with the challenge, shoulder to shoulder. And if they had a crisper delivery, Kianese did have space. But now the biggest threat here is against SD Raiders. Well, that was awkward across the board. And they're going to say Trajewski was the man who put a foot on the back of Sabatu. And he's blown up deluxe here, Trajewski. He's got to be careful. The call's already been made. We might get a minute or so. Another stoppage here.
30 seconds, Charles. Switch on, McGrath.
So once again, Lucas ushering his players forward. One final throw of the dice. Kianese looking to flick it on. Numbers forward. Now Cox Barlow carting it up and then sends it back to the middle. Hits the post. They're going to say contact here with Solsky. The ball was alive. It was there to make a play at, but didn't quite get it cleanly there, Cox Barlow. So final seconds remaining here at Ernie Smith Reserve. Trajewski tipping it on now for Diagostini. Sends it wide for Durante. Diagostini trying to beat another defender here. Durante will swing it back to the middle. Met there by Dongwa, who then clears his lines, and that will do it. They couldn't be split after 90 minutes. Oodles of chances for SD Raiders in that second half, but they couldn't find a finish no matter what they tried. And the Wolves, to their credit, they kept pressing forward, but were also unable to find that go-ahead goal. Full time here in round 9 of the NPL Men's New South Wales. It is all square. SD Raiders and Wollongong Wolves finish at 1-1. Nah, just probably getting into the warmth, mate. I'll be getting inside.
That was efficient.
Few golden chances, didn't they?
Sorry. Oh, so many chances. Yeah, this was one of rare, one
He
game.
goes
But
Eddie,
it's actually interesting.
to see the end player.
Yeah.
No, I thought that a few weeks ago when I called him against St George. I was like, I don't know how they're coming last. Like, they create a lot.
But they're not finished.
Yeah.
This would be easily 3-3, no problem.
I think they were the better side though. Could I grab your number in case you do any more of that boxing stuff? I'd love to do a bit more of that.